God. It is Monday, and everyone knows what time it is for. There is a fresh blanket of snow on the ground in basically most of the damn area. It is also the end of the NFL regular season. We're talking playoffs. We're talking college football playoffs. It's playoff football madness today. And how appropriate that episode 25 is the first episode of 609 Sports Talk in 2025. And that begins right now. Yes, and welcome in everybody back to another edition of 609 Sports Talk live here on Facebook and, of course, over on YouTube. We are coming to you guys live from Hamilton, New Jersey. And, of course, you all know this is the show that unites fans and ignites debate. And we, as always, are your hosts, Sam Nelson. He is Tyler Adams. Mr. Adams, how are we doing on this cold, snowy, playoff-ready Monday?
Well, we get to end the regular season with another Victory Monday, leading us well into the playoff season. Waiting to see what happens the rest of this week, and hopefully we see our team out there full strength, ready for the Super Bowl.
Is Vic Foles under contract?
Sam? No, because according to every single person in Philadelphia, Tanner McKee's the next coming Tom Brady, and I need everyone to calm down. It's the Giants' defense.
Listen, buddy. One guy was drafted. Both were drafted in the 6th round. One guy was drafted 199. One guy was drafted 188.
All right, Sam, let's not derail the show already, all right? We're not even 3 minutes in. What's up, Matt? Go Eagles, go Irish.
All right, so
his team's defense looks just about as good as the Eagles' defense.
Let's just get something understood. Matt and I only hate each other for 50% of the week. Okay?
It's valid.
Now, if the Irish win and something on Sunday bad happens, I don't want to talk to Matt for like a month.
Between the both of you, you at least need the Eagles win. Whatever else happens between your college teams, it is what it is.
Of course. What's up, Carol?
What's up, Carol?
But, Tyler, real quickly, let's talk about one thing real quickly. We're going to talk Eagles-Packers. Full wildcard predictions is how we're going to open the show. But, of course, I want to talk a little bit about last night, Sunday Night Football. Lions lock up that number 1 seed. Everyone is set now. The Vikings. Act like you belong for a sec for me, okay? Act like you belonged in the game.
The Vikings are in very, very special territory. And that territory...
They're in dangerous territory.
...is the same territory the Steelers are in. Both teams had a chance to win their division. Both teams have been kind of downward spiraling toward the end of the year. Now, granted, the Steelers are in a lot worse of a position than the Vikings were, but that game last night, like you said, act like you belong there. They didn't score a single touchdown, unless they scored a garbage time one. Did they? No, still no. Yeah, you relied on your field goal unit to try and beat the Lions. Let's put that into perspective real quick. The highest scoring offense in the league, you expected to beat with some pretty outstanding play from the Vikings defense. They set that team up very well throughout the night, but the offense didn't know what the end zone looked like. Jahmyr Gibbs did, though.
Yeah.
Saw 4 times.
Don't get me started on that. Matt saying he has no ill will toward Penn State. He don't care who wins. I agree, Matt. I have no hate toward Notre Dame. I love. I don't want to say I don't look. First of all, it's very hard to have a season that you've had when you're Sam Darnold, when you had the career he's had. I want to give the Lions the utmost credit because of how they sent just for every rusher they could, and they said we're just going to keep blitzing until he beats us with it. And
I will say, yeah, I don't think that was all on Darnold. He had his top star dropping passes and Justin Jefferson. Multiple players on that team were dropping passes left and right. It was ugly. They couldn't get Aaron Jones going, and then Jones, I think, got hurt in the second half at some point, went back into the locker room. I don't remember if he returned or not because the Vikings offense didn't seem to return. So
they never showed up in the first place.
The Lions were dialed in that game. They put a lot of pressure. They put Darnold on his ass the whole game. They had him scrambling around the whole game. Oh, man. Zolt's comment sums it up.
What's up, Zolt?
Offensive game plan was all-out pressure, had Darnold seeing ghosts. Again, add in again. It's not the first time he's seen some ghosts.
Well, no,
it's definitely not all on him.
Well, also, here's the thing, right? I'll even put some on Kevin O'Connell because, okay, I understand who you're playing, right? I get it. You're playing the Lions. You don't want to try to beat them at their own game. I mean, you had an interception that put the ball at the 7-yard line.
Yeah.
You had 2 chances at least to put up some type of points at the 3-yard line, and you went for it and missed them both. I understand field goals are not going to beat the Detroit Lions, but you got to put up as many points as you possibly can with the opportunities you're given.
The other issue was their kicker was missing close field goals as well. So then they got into an even worse situation where you could just take the points, but they're still not even guaranteed 3 points.
Yeah.
But I think the game planning from Kevin O'Connell and the coaching staff could have been a lot better. At the end of the day, that Detroit Lions defense played way out of their league. They have a lot of injuries. There's no doubt about it. That's an understatement. All right. They still had who was Darius Smith? That's who they got. He was out. Yeah. He was after Darnold like the whole game. So you only had one guy you had to try to stop that game with the pass rush. Couldn't throw no extra blocks towards them. Nothing.
Now
they couldn't exploit their defense. And then on top of it, the Lions lose Teron Arnold.
Yeah. What?
So I don't understand what happened to where they couldn't expose any level of the Lions defense at all the whole night.
Oh my God. Well, first of all, Zolt said that he's curious to see how teams are going forward. They will try the same thing because we made Darnold think he was back on the deck.
That's funny. I'll say this, so I don't think it'd be smart because obviously the Vikings are going to go back and watch that game over because there's a lot they can learn from. And I don't think they're going to make those same mistakes twice. They obviously didn't have a backup plan in place for that scenario, and they couldn't draw one up at halftime. But I think given some time the next week to prep, if a team does try that again, I think they might be getting burnt.
Okay. Real quickly, you see the comment on the screen.
I do.
I am going to explain this one more time to everybody, okay?
Go ahead.
Please listen to me clearly, people. For anybody who doesn't understand how the NFL concussion protocol works, okay? Jalen Hurts cannot clear the protocol until he completes a practice. Is it a little concerning that he hasn't practiced yet? Sure. However, they are taking the utmost precaution when it comes to Jalen Hurts. Now, so just so everyone knows, Jalen Hurts cannot be cleared until he practices. That is the final stage of the concussion protocol. He has to practice to clear it. That is why he is still in the protocol. No, Brian, he does not. He has to practice to be clear. He has to practice, go through the practice with no issues, then he is clear. It has been put all over the damn internet for the past 3 weeks. He has to practice. And then he has to clear that practice with no issues.
So I have a question for you. By
Yes.
practice, are we talking about a full practice or a limited participation in drills?
Now, right now, he has to get on the practice field at any type of base we can think of. Because he hasn't practiced since the week before the Commanders game.
But no, I'm a little confused myself as well. I know what you explained, but I'm thinking of it in terms of like player safety. How do they know if he's able to go and practice? Do they run more like those concussion tests or something that they do?
There's 2 clearances. He has to be cleared to practice. Then he has to be cleared to be able to play.
He has to practice and then be cleared.
Then he has to clear that.
Okay.
But so the final clearance is practice with no issues. If he practices and he is still whatever, lightheaded, woozy, whatever, can't complete the full practice, back in the protocol, can't do anything. All we needed on Wednesday is for Jalen Hurts to practice in some capacity with no issues. And I want to go back to Zolt's other comment here. There was a game to show why teams are interested in Aaron Glenn. That game was it. That's also the game that showed you why teams are interested in Ben Johnson, too.
Yeah. Because let's not act like the Lions weren't looking too hot early in the game either. It was a close game. It was one possession at one point. And the Vikings defense, they had the Lions number starting out. It's just a shame the offense couldn't capitalize more, but ultimately it caught up to them. Couldn't hang around.
Yeah. And again.
Yeah. What Brian just said, my final thought on it is, honestly, he's missed 2 weeks already. If he doesn't practice Wednesday, then I don't see him practicing at all the rest of the week. Because if he's not ready by Wednesday, I don't see when he's going to be ready then.
Thursday is the last hope we have.
Yeah, but then I'm still just like, it's been 2 weeks already. Is that one extra day from not practicing Wednesday and practicing Thursday? Is that really going to be a difference maker?
Well, look, you had better news last week from Nick than you did the week before. He said he was progressing through it, so he's clearly making progress. Nothing today was going to give you an update because they haven't seen him. Now, they held some type of a Saturday walkthrough, which I have been told he was there.
Okay.
So that is progressing. Nick has no updates on Jalen because he probably hasn't seen Jalen yet. Today is the team gets the day off Monday, and I believe it's Tuesday. That's the league mandated day off. They don't go back to the facility until Wednesday, so we will not know anything until then. Yeah, see, Matt just basically said what I just said. So to be fully cleared, he has to complete it. He has to practice.
Yeah. The hope is that he'll be out there practicing on Wednesday.
Yeah. Now, for the people that are concerned about him being there for 2 weeks, let's not act like the Eagles didn't do this earlier in the year. Because if anybody remembers, Lane Johnson was in the concussion protocol with the Saints game, right?
Mm-hmm.
He returned to practice the next week, but they still did not play him against the Bucs because they had the bye week coming up.
Oh, yeah. So they had the bye week, and the team was banged up. It was just a
that's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Don't be surprised if this is taking this long with the Eagles. They are taking it. They had they knew they could beat the Dallas Cowboys without Jalen Hurts at home. They knew they could do that. They have the best defense in the league, and the Cowboys stink. They knew that and I don't care if he was cleared or not yesterday. He wasn't playing yesterday regardless, so it doesn't matter. So don't be surprised by the fact that they are taking these measures with him.
Yeah. And for anyone who's
that they're
worried,
taking this slow.
For anyone who thinks, he's going to come back, he's not going to be ready, he's going to suck, don't forget, we won 10 games in a row with him. He played the whole season. Nothing has changed with the offense. He comes back, it's business as usual. He knows what to do. The team knows what to do. It's not like he's learning a new language.
No, but the fact that you haven't played a game in almost a month,
that game time rust, sure. We might see some of it. Do I think it's going to really hamper anything? No, I don't. Because guess what? If they have to ease him back into the game, we're just going to see a Saquon Barkley heavy game, some short passes, moving the chains, and we get the win regardless.
And if he's a little rusty, ain't that why that guy behind him, 26, is here?
Yeah.
That's how you ease Jalen Hurts back in. You do what you've been doing the whole year. You just run the damn football.
Yep.
Because you've got a banged-up Packers team coming in here with no Jair Alexander, no Christian Watson, a banged-up Jordan Love.
Yep.
Now, don't get me wrong.
So with Jordan Love, is that his throwing elbow?
Yes.
Okay, so he's probably going to be like less than 90%. If
all
that's
right, Matt.
generous.
So, Matt, we're basically just going to go with the theme of the season and not score in the first quarter.
Deal.
Yeah. Okay.
He'll kick it off second quarter. I mean, that's what we've been seeing all year, so that's fine.
No, what he's going to do is really throw us all for a loop. He's going to throw a 50-yard bomb to Dotson for a touchdown the first play of the game.
50-yard bomb to a wide-open Dallas Goedert. A lost in coverage. Because don't forget, Dallas Goedert coming back, too. That's going to be very helpful as well.
I'm sorry. I've got a baseball trade that threw me off. I'm sorry. Anyway, back to
breaking.
Nah, not really. The Dodgers just traded Gavin Lux to the Reds. Make that make sense. But no, I mean, Dallas Goedert. Now, for the people saying, well, why did Goddard play Sunday? Goddard hadn't played for a month.
Yeah. He missed a lot more time, so getting him out there, he looked pretty good.
He did look good. And Dotson, makes you feel better about him? He played really good yesterday, too.
He did.
So, since we're on this whole Lions, Eagles, whatever, who do you look at right now and say, this team can go, because the NFC now runs through Detroit.
It does.
Who do you look at as who can dethrone the Lions if they have to go to Detroit to play them? Who do you look at as the biggest threat to Detroit?
My homer hat is off.
Okay.
I still believe the Philadelphia Eagles are the biggest threat to the Lions. I feel like they have them beat defensively. They're healthier than them. A lot more stars. And offensively, I think they can control the game and go toe for toe. And I think our defense holds up better than theirs. Georgie's going with nobody.
Fair statement. But I did read that Love did have no feeling in his hand for most of the game. Now he was able to get back out there to a small point, but no, there's only two legit teams that I think can compete with this Lions team. One of them, yes, homer hat off, it's the Eagles. The Eagles do almost all the same damn things that the Lions do. They run the football effectively. How do you keep the Lions' offense at bay? You keep them off the field. Well, guess what? The Philadelphia Eagles have done a pretty good job this year at keeping opposing offenses on the damn sideline for a lot of the game.
Yeah.
And let's not act like the Lions' defense is beating the world right now.
Yeah. Now, I'm interested to see who you're going to say the other team is, because I realistically don't have a second team. I think this conference is Lions or Eagles.
The other team that can compete with them, now this is a little different. This team has to play to the Lions' strength, but they've got the weapons to do it. It's the Rams. You don't want to play this Rams team right now. They are hot heading into the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, they don't do the best on the road.
Yeah, but you're telling me the guy who is still the face of that franchise, and he still is the face of that franchise. Sorry, Jared Goff. You've had a very nice run here, but Matthew Stafford is still the face of that Lions franchise. And they are fully. Also, remember, week 1. Yes, the Rams lost to them in overtime. They also lost like 3 or 4 players in that game.
True.
But how do the Lions have enough defensively to stand the toe with Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams? Do you have enough? And I understand that we're talking about what happened last night, but I'm pretty sure we can all agree Matthew Stafford's a way better quarterback than Sam Darnold.
Yeah. I kind of see where you're working your point from, and you got one thing right. The Lions defense, that's the one place that you exploit them. Right? I get it.
Yeah.
They shut down Minnesota. I thought Minnesota was a fringe team to begin with. I know the record said otherwise, but I saw a lot of close wins from them this year. They didn't really strike me as the team to beat.
That's fine. All right, Bruiser, that's fine. Who's the face of the franchise then?
No, it's Megatron, all right? Megatron will always be the face of that franchise. Don't you get it twisted.
All right, that's fine. He didn't win nothing there either.
Yeah, you're right.
They
weren't even winning games. What do you mean?
Yeah, they weren't even winning games with that. But either way, now this team. Those are the only 2 teams. The other only team that I could even put, they're not a match. All right, I knew exactly what Bruiser was going to do as soon as I said it.
Dan Campbell. Bite your kneecaps off.
The only other team that I think has any chance with it could be Tampa. Tampa's played Detroit close. Now they're not going to beat Detroit.
Yeah, every time Tampa
they're too spotty.
And not just that, they've suffered a lot of injuries as well.
But I feel like every time Tampa plays Detroit, it's like a 1-score game or it's an overtime.
I'm trying to pull up last time they played them.
I'm pretty sure they played them earlier this year.
They did. Oh, wait. Yeah. That was second game of the season, and Detroit lost.
So interesting.
Tampa beat them by 4.
Interesting. Now, granted, first 2 weeks of the season doesn't mean crap. I'm sorry. Yeah. If Tampa's got to come to Philly, yeah, week 4 was real cute, sweetheart.
But then also week 1, Lions beat the Rams in overtime by 6. So
exactly,
already a nail biter there too.
Nothing in the first month of the season is going to matter if any of these teams match up with each other. I'm sorry, what happened week 1 with the Packers doesn't mean anything right now.
Yeah, you're right. Playoff football is totally different.
Bruiser. Dan Campbell's done a tremendous job. Yes. He's kind of got to win something first, right?
Yeah.
You kind of got to win something first. No, Matt, it's not. But after what I saw last night, I just don't know how I can trust. Matt, here's how I'm looking at it, right? If I'm picking one of these 3 teams to defeat the Detroit Lions in Detroit, who am I picking? Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles, Matthew Stafford and the LA Rams, or Sam Darnold?
Yeah, no, I can't see the Vikings.
Zolt is spot on what he just said, by the way. Barry Sanders is the face of the franchise. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. Now, Matt, I would totally be on board with the Vikings if they hung around in that game and showed me that they knew what an end zone looked like. And no, not Sam Darnold almost getting sacked near the end zone. They because the first meeting between the Lions and the Vikings. It was a 2-point win by the Lions. That game came down to the wire. It was a good showing for the Vikings. People were expecting that to kind of be the same thing, at least a one possession score. You lose by a field goal or a touchdown, something like that. They got boat raced. In the game for your division and the number 1 seed, you get boat raced. They had no answers.
I'm not going to disagree with Bruce's point here either.
You don't have to win a championship, but you have. Dan Campbell's making great progress in his coaching career there. He's still got a lot more to do.
They're going to win
accolades he can rack up, and a lot more things he could do, and they will win more. From what he's done the last few seasons.
All right, just an example here. Face of the franchise example. You're the 76ers. When you hear that name, Philadelphia 76ers, who's the first guy that comes to your mind?
Currently or like all time?
All time, come on.
All time AI.
Exactly. Even when he was in Miami winning championships, who was the face of the Cavs when he wasn't even on the damn team? LeBron.
Yeah.
It's just the face of a franchise talk is a very interesting talk that we could have with a lot of teams.
Yeah, I still do think the Lions is Barry Sanders for sure, no doubt.
Oh, fun fact! Was at work on yesterday. Was doing some tasks outside. Guess who walked right by me?
Ooh,
Mark Gastineau
again.
No, it was really? Mark Gastineau. Yes. He's always in the time. I mess with Mark Gastineau. I have some more. I'll tell you that later. Matt said, so if we win Sunday, Washington wins, and the Vikings win, the Vikings come to Philly. Yeah, sorry, Sam. Good luck with that, buddy.
That would be a dream scenario.
No, I'm not afraid of any of these teams.
Not at all.
Can we just admit that the Vikings just aren't a good team when they're not in their dome? They don't play well when they're not on. They're not. They don't play well once they get out of Minnesota late in the season.
I mean, it might be even more than that. Let me see how are they at home this year? I want to look.
I mean, they're freaking 14-3.
They're 8-1 at home. Okay. So that's better than the Lions at home. Lions are 7-2 at home, and
Eagles are 8-1 at home.
Yeah,
Bruiser, you can make the compelling argument for Dr. J. You can even make the compelling argument for Will Chamberlain. But no, when you think
those guys would have been the right answer at one point, but AI transcended them in his stardom.
He also transcended the league.
Exactly. Like, he did a lot for the league. Like,
those Dr. J did too.
Like, yeah, like I associate Dr. J right away with the Sixers as well. I mean, Will Chamberlain, he had a lot of success for a few teams, so.
Well, yeah, when you're a foot taller than the whole league, of course you did.
Literally a whole foot taller. And then if he puts his arms up, it's probably like 3 feet.
Maybe a foot and a half. But we could definitely make some discussions about how much of a difference a foot or an inch makes. Go ask him.
Kevin Durant. Isaiah Likely.
No. See, I was going somewhere completely different. With this conversation. We're going to stop right here.
I don't know if I want to know where you were going with that.
No, you don't want to know. We'll get kicked off the air for this. But anyway, no. I personally, there's only 2 teams that can even compete with Detroit. It's Philly and it's LA. Yeah. LA can score with them, so can Philly. But Philly has a way of, if there's a game that's close in the fourth quarter, that we've seen it, the Eagles can go on this ridiculous 10-minute drive to ice that game. We've seen it. The Eagles can ice a game with one drive.
Yeah. Sam, I think you struck some nerves with your AI comment.
Okay, that's fine. Look, just because we all have different opinions, right?
Yep.
Like,
see, I'm not a Sixers fan. If I'm thinking Sixers, I'm still thinking AI.
here's the
I'll think
difference,
about
though, Matt.
too.
I get Matt's comment, but AI didn't just change the whole culture for the Sixers. He did it for the whole league. He had kids showing up to the freaking games with cornrows and freaking fake tattoos up their entire body. AI brought a swagger back to the NBA for after a while. Man, I set off a lot of people with this. Jesus, I'm not even talking basketball. Wiley Baker, by the way. Hello. Welcome to the show, by the way.
Welcome to the show.
I have set off the whole freaking universe about basketball. We're not even talking about it. Matt, what's your bold prediction? Shoot. But back to the playoffs here. But again, Philly has had times where they have needed to ice the game in the fourth quarter with one big drive, and they've done it. They've done it all year. The Rams will have to basically beat the Lions in a shootout because ain't neither of those defenses scary at all.
I think the most notable, and I mean, it's kind of getting watered down now with how bad they've played recently, but back when we beat the Steelers, they were still a very good team, top of the AFC.
We broke them.
They did at the end. I think we probably did break them. Tomlin expected that his defense is going to get his offense on the field one more time that game. He was like, all right, punt the ball away. They didn't see the field the rest of the game.
Nope.
The greatest meme of all time, we gave Mike Tomlin the suds. He was standing on a sideline meat mug, and he was mad. He was like, this damn team, man. 12-minute drive. Can't get my offense back out for one more play. Unbelievable. That would be insane to see. Would that be possible? What would we have to... Let's see. I sort of got the bracket up here. So we would beat the Packers. Commanders would beat the Rams. Then we would play... No, then wouldn't we have to play the Commanders in the next round?
It all depends on who wins.
Because the Commanders hold the 6th seed.
Please do not make me try to explain the whole seeding crap right now. I'm trying to get on.
I would like for you to explain it all.
No, I want Bruiser. What does this even mean? The hard plays. What are we afraid of? Because we ain't afraid of much.
Yeah, I don't know. Sirianni's done some questionable plays, so I don't know. He makes some pretty ballsy decisions. Don't always agree with them. When they work, they're great.
Okay, but you know what cracks me up when it comes to that? One guy does it, he's ridiculed. The other guy in Detroit does it, he's the greatest coach in the league.
Yeah.
You can't have it both ways.
Yep.
It's all more about execution more than anything.
I guess, but yeah, it's execution because Dan Campbell seems to get bailed out on his mistakes more than Sirianni does.
Exactly.
Because you go back and there's two big ones you could think of, right? They go for the 4th and 2, Saquon drops it against the Falcons. You don't expect that to happen.
That's poorly executed.
You go, what was it, 4th and 5? Smitty had like a 10-yard catch that he dropped against Washington. That would have iced the game.
No, that was 3rd and 5.
A 3rd and 5.
Because they kicked it.
Oh, then they kicked it. Okay, you're right.
People were mad with him because he didn't go for it. But again, when you're in the middle of a game where your starting quarterback was knocked out, your whole play sheet is cut in 3-4.
Yeah.
You have to figure out what works in that game. They didn't have a week to plan with Kenny Pickett. Now, you saw when they got the plan for at least a week against Dallas. Now, granted, Dallas stinks, but still. You saw Kenny was more comfortable because they were able to game plan it. So, the only game I really had since the win streak started was the Jacksonville game. That was the only game where Nick really was on a bender. And he was on a bender that night.
Yeah. Okay, Matt explained it. That makes sense now.
Hit me.
So yes, if they would play Detroit if Washington wins. So Washington would have to beat Buccaneers. Then they would go to Detroit. They would have to go into Detroit and beat the Lions, which I'm not saying is impossible. but I don't think it's realistic.
I don't either.
Not impossible, not realistic.
Now here's the thing, right? We saw the Eagles. Now the Eagles have. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to sound like a homer, but the Eagles' defense, as of right now, currently constructed, is better than the Lions. Strictly because the Lions' defense has their whole team on IR.
But I would even
Lions,
say with their full team healthy and our full defense healthy, the only thing I would give them is Aiden Hutchinson's star power on the edge. Now, granted, our team, they still get to the quarterback with all the boys up front, but just alone Aiden Hutchinson's star power, I give them the edge in pass rushing. But as far as the secondary, no, I'll take my secondary.
Brian Branch is a stud, but I would take the Eagles secondary as a whole.
Yeah, exactly. Not taking one
What's
player.
up, Burnsy?
Complete package. What's up, Burnsy?
Also, let's not act like, Jahmyr Gibbs went off last night. Yeah, absolutely. But guess what? There's a lot of difference between running into the Vikings and then there's running into Jalen Carter.
Yeah. Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis.
And Milton Williams.
Yeah, not to mention you still got Zach Bond flying around the second level with N'Kobe Dean looking to hit you.
That's what I was going to say, right? We saw the Eagles' defense struggle with Jaden Daniels. I don't know how.
So let's see. Let's put this to the test here. How many mobile quarterbacks have the Lions played? Would you consider Baker a semi-mobile quarterback or no?
He ain't Jalen Hurts,
around,
Daniels mobile.
No, definitely not like that.
He can move the pocket, but I would not consider Baker a mobile quarterback.
Kyler Murray.
Yes.
They only beat them by 7.
Okay.
Who else? Not Geno. Not Dak.
Maybe 5 years ago.
Yeah, 5 years ago.
Maybe when he was with the Jets running to the bench every night.
Would you consider Jordan Love mobile? Semi-mobile? I know he doesn't really run a lot.
He's probably a bit over Baker, but not.
He's probably good enough at scrambling around.
Yeah. I'm not game planning for it, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, they only beat the Texans by 3. So CJ Stroud and offense put up some numbers.
Stroud's probably in the same as Love, not very mobile.
The Thanksgiving game only beat the Bears by 3. We all remember that game.
Oh, hold on, Zolt. That's real. Zolt, that's real funny.
He's about as mobile as Tom Brady.
So you do say he's like Tom Brady, see?
That was supposed to be a joke, Sam.
And no, I saw Tanner McKee roll out 3 times yesterday that were way more impressive than anything Tom Brady ever did. And Burns, said congrats on clicking the division. Just need you guys to take care of the Packers in the playoffs. Well, we're hoping so.
Oh, here's another good example, Sam.
Okay.
They lost to the Bills in a shootout.
Who hasn't lost to the Bills in a shootout?
Josh Allen dropped 48 on them. And trust me, he did a lot of running that game. Let's see. How many rushing yards did he have that game? 68? Yeah. 2 rushing touchdowns? Yeah, I'd say they struggled a little bit. Not to mention he killed him through the air, too.
Fair enough. So, it's going to be interesting.
The Lions, they seem like the team to beat. They're having an amazing season right now. The only thing that worries me is I know they've had this next man up mentality the whole season, that it's been working for them. Now come playoff time, is it going to hold true? Are they going to be able to weather all of these teams? That's the question.
It's a good question. There you go. The Mormon.
Oh my gosh.
I think it's like a combination of Brady, Montana-ish. Maybe a little Mahomes.
All right, Collinsworth.
Oh, yeah. Now here's a guy.
Now, here's a guy who reminds me of Patrick Mahomes.
All right. So, do you want to bring up do you find a playoff bracket for us?
Oh, let's see.
And we'll bring it up on the screen. We'll do some predictions.
Yeah.
Let's bring it up. We'll only do the first round. We're not going to go through the whole thing.
Let me see if I can find it.
Oh, yeah, Burnsy. Raw is on Netflix. I forgot tonight is the Netflix debut. I probably won't watch it. Oh, see, Matt's right on top with me. He's mixed with Brady, Montana, and Breeze. Look at this. Well, by the way, while we're talking, I know we're making stupid jokes. I never thought that I could find a quarterback with the forehead of Peyton Manning, and I found him. Jared Goff has got the Peyton Manning forehead. For anyone that needs that thing is whoo! You could build a whole another Ford Field on that thing. Like that's some scary stuff over there. Jared Goff's got some. Now, Zolt makes the point here that guys are at least coming back. Anzalone came back yesterday. Carlton Davis will be back by the NFC title game. Hutchinson could be back by the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Or NFC title game if you listen to rumors. If we listen to rumors. Yes, Matt, I can't believe that I actually found somebody that has the forehead of Peyton Manning, and it's Jared Goff. But no, the Lions are the best team in the NFC. We know this. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They have been playing like it all season. The only team that I legitimately think can actually beat them in Detroit is Philly. Now, you could say, no, that's fine, homer this, homer that. The Eagles do things that can literally counteract what the Lions do. So, for one, I think Detroit's easily the best team in the conference. They've been playing like it all year, whether they've had guys banged up or not. And I'm not going to pick against them in the divisional round. Now, Zolt said Goff forehead swallowed one of those kneecaps. Oh, my God. You guys are absolutely terrible. All right. So here we are. Let's do some predictions. We're only going to do the first round, just so everyone knows. Anthony, that question's already been answered, and the answer is yes. And Matt said, y'all know, seriously, McKee reminds me of Wentz before the injury. He can make some throws like, wow, same, like, I don't want to talk about Carson Wentz. That's what I saw on Sunday. I think that man's
Carson Wentz. I don't need to talk about Tanner McKee. All right. If Tanner McKee's got to come in and be a backup, sure, cool. It is what it is. At the end of the day, I still need my QB1 out there.
He was just out there yesterday. Wait, is it McKee QB1?
That's it, Sam. You're out.
Okay. Thanks. I just got booted off my own show. All right, so here we are, first round. Now, we're not going to predict the whole thing up to the Super Bowl. We'll just do the wild. We're going to be doing this week in and week out. You may have to boot Matt out of the comments now. All right, Tyler. So, do you want to start on the NFC side or the AFC side?
Well, we've already talked about the NFC. Might as well wrap it up there.
All right, so let's go. Let's go to the first game to talk about. Let's talk about Vikings and Rams.
So, Vikings and Rams, that's going to be a tough one. Because you got the team who just got boat raced out of their chance for the first overall seed.
Yep.
Now they're sitting at number 5, going up against a pretty hot Rams team. Did these teams play each other yet this year?
I don't believe they did this year.
Think so.
I don't believe the Rams played the Vikings this year.
Let me see. Nope.
Nope.
They did.
No, they did.
October 24th, and the Rams beat them by 10.
Okay.
So it looked like the Vikings were actually able to move the ball a little bit better that game. But yeah, that's really about it. The Rams were also without Jared Goff. Now, granted, Puka Nakua just carries the
The
whole team.
Rams were without who?
Actually, hold on, no, Cooper Cup is still playing.
Oh, you said Jared Goff.
Oh, I said Jared Goff. No, I meant Cooper Cup. But
I
anyway,
think the
I
Rams.
just looked it up, and he was actually playing that week. I thought that
The
was the
Rams are.
span that he got
Tyler,
hurt.
just so you know, the Rams have been without Jared Goff for 3 years.
Yes, thank you, Sam.
Oh my God! What a great start. Oh, just Tyler, in case you know, Aaron Donald's no longer on the Rams either. I just need to make sure you know. Neither
Sure,
is
he had 3 sacks in that game.
yeah, until he turned to a white guy named Braden Fisk. All right, so Matt's going AFC side: Chargers, Baltimore Bills, Eagles, Washington Vikings. Okay, Kyler, what are you feeling about this game?
I think the Rams will win.
You think you got the Rams winning?
I don't think the Vikings are gonna. I don't think they're gonna lose by that bad as against the Lions. I think they're gonna work some things out, come in with a better strategy. I still think the Rams are gonna put up too many points for them though. Don't be surprised. Jared Verse has two sacks also.
That Rams young front is scary. They get after the quarterback. I mean, it's not just Verse. They've got Fisk. Yeah. They have Young. They have Kobe Turner. They get after you. This game will literally come down to what team's defense makes that one play. That's how I look at it. Which defense makes that one play? Yeah. I think the Vikings defense has more of the potential to do it. However, if I'm in a first-round postseason game in LA, it is a little bit of a homecoming for Sam Darnold. You know, he went to USC. But the guy on the other side has won a Super Bowl. He is one of the best quarterbacks of his era. I don't care what his numbers tell you. I'm going to go with the Rams. I think Matthew Stafford and the Rams are moving on. They're going to be heading to the next round. So I'm going to go with the Rams. Now, the real good question is, does that game eclipse 80 points
80
with those
points?
offenses?
No. Not Minnesota. If we're talking about Detroit and LA, I think it could.
Now,
Minnesota lost yesterday. It left such a bad taste. I was expecting a really close competitive game, and they just were out of it.
Yeah. Now,
good momentum.
Now the real question has to be is, can Sam Darnold bounce back for what happened on Sunday? He's got a week to do it. That's the thing. Sometimes having the bye is not the greatest thing. The Lions also have to wait a week to play. So,
yeah. Well, the bye will help the Lions try to get a little healthier.
That will.
That game.
But remember, the bye hurts you more than anything. Go ask the college football powerhouses.
No, it hurt them. No, it hurt them because they weren't even some of the top teams, but because they won their conference, they got a bye.
No,
don't agree with that. Hopefully, that changes next year.
I
don't care. I don't care if you won the Sun Belt or the Mountain West, Big 12, whatever. I don't care what conference you win. If you're one of the top teams in the nation, you should get a bye week.
The top 4 teams for the regular season should get the bye.
Yeah.
All right, now let's go down to game number 2. Bucks Commanders. Now, these two teams matched up for week 1 as well.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this one? Excuse me.
I think. That's a tough one. I think the Commanders have enough to win the game. I mean, the Buccaneers have still been playing really, really well, overcoming
Baker
a lot
Mayfield.
throughout the season.
Baker Mayfield has been playing out of his mind the last couple of years in Tampa.
He has. It's so tough to bet against him. I mean, so looking back at week 1, granted, week 1 doesn't hold too much weight in the NFL.
No,
It's
it does
obviously
not.
Jalen Daniels' first game as a rookie. He didn't have the greatest showing, but we all saw what he did after that. I don't know. I mean, I feel like Washington's handicapped without Eckler, and I don't think Eckler's expected to be cleared before this game at all.
He already got cleared.
Oh, he did get cleared.
He played yesterday.
Oh, did he really? Oh, that's right. You told me that. I already dropped.
They've got the team. Eckler is a very important part of the Commanders' offense because he brings the pass catching ability out of the backfield. Because Brian Robinson is not that.
He is. Brian Robinson's a great running back. That's it. He's not a good pass catcher. They definitely missed that 1-2 punch with them. I think the Commanders might surprise some people down in Tampa. I think they might go down there and upset them.
I don't think it's an upset if they do. I think the Commanders are just better.
Really? Okay.
Yes. Here's the thing. Who is spying Jaden Daniels? 38-year-old Levante David?
True. That's not going to go too well.
No. Now, the Commanders' defense has to have answers for Baker, Bucky Irving, Mike Evans, McMillan. These teams, their offenses are evenly matched. But it's the legs of Jaden Daniels that concern me for Tampa's defense's sake. And you also got to ask yourself, outside, now, on the Washington side, you have to ask, who's going to step up that's not Terry McLaurin?
Zach Ertz.
Is it going to be Austin Eckler? Is it going to be Brian Robinson? Is it going to be old reliable Zach Ertz? Like, who is it going to be?
Yeah. So just to piggyback off what you said about Jaden Daniels and his legs, he did run for 88 yards and 2 touchdowns on that week 1 loss. So take that into consideration. They already couldn't stop him from running the first time around. Now he's actually a dual threat quarterback. He's comfortable in the pass game, scrambling out of the pocket, making plays down the field. I don't know how much of a chance I give Tampa. I don't even really give them much home field advantage because they haven't dominated at home this year. They're
no, they haven't.
Where is it? They're 5-4 at home. Now, granted, that Washington's 5-3 on the road, so they've won some road games. I can't even give them that advantage. I'm definitely going with the Commanders.
I am too. Now, Anthony makes a really good point here. He says Washington's future will depend on Lattimore playing. Now, Lattimore has not played since the Eagles game.
Really?
If I'm not mistaken. Anthony, am I right on that? I'm pretty sure he hasn't played since then. But
what injury is he dealing with?
I have no freaking idea.
Anthony, we need the Lattimore news.
Oh, I got it. All right. Lattimore is dealing with it's that hamstring again.
Oh, that's never fun.
If it comes back, it doesn't go away the second time.
Ask Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen strained his hamstring when he came out the womb, and it hasn't healed since.
You know what? I'm surprised. Keenan Allen, I don't know how he hasn't missed much time this year with the Bears, and he's been their leading receiver too.
And now he's playing in cold weather.
I guess the cold weather's helping them more than the warm. I have no idea.
Yeah, he only played 2 games so far. Yeah, this is because who doesn't want a good old Lattimore, Mike Evans 1-on-1 for the playoffs, right?
Oh, man.
Who doesn't want that?
Just like old times.
All right, final prediction, Tyler. Who do you have winning?
I still got Washington. Lattimore or
Okay.
not, I still got him.
I do too. I just don't know if Tampa can contain Jaden Daniels.
Yeah. I think if there's going to be a lot of points in that game.
I could agree with that. I could see that being the more high-scoring game.
That would be one I would take a bet on. Total 80 or more points total.
I don't think, anyways. I'd say 60 or more at least. But I
Yeah,
don't know about 80 now. That's a little extreme.
that's a reach. Well, we got a 43 to 40 win.
Oh, God.
Walk off by field goal. Who maybe 41 to 40.
Oh, my God. All right, now let's go down to the bottom of the NFC. Eagles, Packers. Now, let's just go with this. Would you stop?
I know. There's a lot more that goes into that.
Hold on. This is, of course, assuming Jalen Hurts is playing.
Yes.
From what it sounds like, what I'm seeing, he is. It sounds like he'll be back at practice on Wednesday.
Yeah, my hopes for that game go completely down the drain if my starting quarterback isn't out there.
Exactly.
Jalen Hurts.
So let's go into it.
Commanding that offense. Now, one of the reasons that I say this, and I say it so confidently, one, they've been playing great this year. But two, the fact that Jordan Love is now going to be most likely coming to this game less than 75%. Definitely not coming to that game 100% at all. There's no chance.
No.
I know Matt told us earlier about the reports saying that he couldn't even grip the football.
He could. He had no feeling in his hand for a part of the game.
So he's not going to be at 100%. So what is that going to tell us? And yeah, Zolt just said too, Christian Watson's out for the year. They fear a torn ACL with him. That leaves them down to what are they going to have to do? Run the football. What have the Eagles been great against this year? Defending the run. And defending the deep ball. But the ball's not going to go deep because if Love's elbow is nowhere near 100%, that ball's not going further than 10 yards.
And also, let's take into account now, Jaden Reed had a very good game in Brazil week 1. This is not the same Eagles secondary it was in week 1. This is
That's the huge point. This Eagles defense, anything that you saw from the Eagles defense from before bye week, this isn't them. After the bye week, once they got Cooper DeJean back, everything started to fall into place. Fangio's dream came true. And this defense has been playing lights out the whole year.
Yeah, it has. And you saw, we knew from game 1. We watched that game. That was the night we watched Quinyon Mitchell, and we're like, oh, we got a stud here. He's out here drawing with guys.
He was drawing with Watson because he got matched up with Watson a few times.
And also, now, it didn't make a lot of difference in week 1 when A.J. Brown went up against Jaire Alexander, but now you don't have him at all.
Yeah.
I just don't know how the Packers defense can contain A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Saquon Barkley.
Well, to keep on going. Now Dallas Goedert's back. Throw Calcaterra some looks out there. Maybe Jahan Dotson gets some more looks in that game.
Maybe Tanner McKee plays a Taysom Hill role. I don't know.
Sam, shut up. I'll boot you off the show again.
Please don't. I actually enjoy this show. But no, so the Packers, I think the Packers are too good not to make this interesting. They're going to score a little bit. I could see this being like a 27-17 type game. Nothing crazy.
Yeah, that's the thing. The Eagles, they don't really run up the score that much on you. They like to control the time of possession.
That Rams game says otherwise, sir.
Okay. Aside from that game. Aside from that one. And aside from what they did to the Cowboys.
Which time?
And the Giants. Which time? This is old. Don't jinx us. That's not going to happen. I'll take Eagles by 17. I'll be satisfied with that.
Yeah, I'll be 100% okay with that.
But I mean, it's not a homer pick. We gave our valid explanations for why if Jalen Hurts is starting that game, I don't see how Green Bay has a chance to stay in it.
I agree.
Not with a less than 100% Jordan Love. Jordan Love would have to play the game of his career to beat us.
And already without Christian Watson, that doesn't help. What I will be interested to see is how do the Eagles have an answer for Musgrave and Tucker Kraft? The Packers tight ends are very, very underrated part of their pass game.
They are.
How do the Eagles
especially because they got Kraft? I think Kraft was the one who was hurt for a while.
I forget which one.
They were without one of them.
But with both of them, it's going to be very interesting how they handle those two. But the main goal for the Eagles in this game will be to stop Josh Jacobs. If Josh Jacobs is held contained, then I'm not worried. I am not worried if Josh Jacobs has 80 yards or fewer. I am perfectly okay.
Because those 80 yards, he's going to work for him every single one. He might average like 3.
Yeah, this is a big game for Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis and Milt Williams. Yep. Big game. And this is a big playoff game in general for this team because there's a lot of young players. You don't have – now, we've agreed that these young guys have stepped up after losing your leaders, Jason Kelsey, Fletcher Cox both retire, Brandon Graham's out for the season. This is a different story now.
Yep.
How does this young team handle the situation?
I mean, at the end of the day, they still have enough leaders on this team. They still have those guys who were just in the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
Agreed.
They know what needs to be done in the playoffs. I don't think they're going to have any. Will they have maybe a little bit of first game jitters? Sure, they might. It's a good thing that we're the second seed and we're going up against the Packers. And the Packers aren't really in the greatest situation right now. So this is a good little first playoff matchup to kind of get things going, especially with Hurts being back, should be back. Have him shake off the rust in this game. Get ready for the playoff run that's to come.
Agreed. All right, so let's just run it down real quick for anybody who may not have been watching with us. I have, in the NFC, I've got Rams, Commanders, Eagles.
Well, we got the same thing.
I thought you picked Minnesota. I thought you were picking Minnesota to beat the Rams.
I don't think they got what it takes. I told you they left a bad taste in my mouth watching that game. They didn't look like a team ready for the playoffs. To have that kind of performance, it's not like they were resting starters. They were playing for the 1 seed for their division. They performed way too poorly for me to be confident coming in to say they're going to win.
No disagreements here. No disagreements whatsoever. All right, let's move over.
Interesting.
What's up?
It gets interesting now.
Yep, let's move over to the AFC. So for this week, for the first round, we got Chargers, Texans, Steelers, Ravens, Broncos, and Bills.
I take it back. I don't think it's going to be that interesting.
Oh, I think it's going to be plenty interesting.
I think the Chargers handle the Texans.
I do too. I don't know what Houston does well. They don't do anything well. I know what the Chargers do. They run the football. Justin Herbert, I think Herbert may have played the best year of his career so far this year in terms of not turning the ball over, being very more efficient, using his legs a little more. I think Justin Herbert had a very underrated season.
Oh, yeah. The Chargers have an identity offensively and defensively that I don't think the Texans have found all year. Yeah, the Texans were good enough to win their division. Cool. Let's see how they won their division. They won their division at 10-7.
And
Okay,
you beat out the Jags,
that's fair.
the Colts.
Yeah, and guess what? The Chargers, they made it into the playoffs not by winning their division because they have 3 playoff teams in their division. They were 11-6.
Yeah.
So
But I mean, just real quickly, Justin Herbert this year, 66% completion percentage, 101.7 passer rating, 3,800 yards, 23 touchdowns, only 3 picks, 306 rushing yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns. Justin Herbert could shed a lot of playoff demons this weekend.
yeah,
Let's not forget that too. Justin Herbert's not been the biggest playoff performer, but now under Jim Harbaugh, that's going to have to change.
yep. I think they'll have a good game plan.
I just think if the Chargers run the football the way that they have been able to all year with Dobbins and all these guys, and they get their playmakers involved enough, McConkey, Quentin Johnston, Will Dissly, if they get these guys involved enough, they will be in just fine shape. And their defense has played a lot better as of late.
Yeah.
Now, that's going to be the real interesting key is what defense plays better. The Texans' defense on paper should be good, but the Texans have not been good this year.
Keyword on paper.
I know.
This whole Texans team on paper should be a lot better.
We thought this team going into the season was going to be like the juggernaut. That was like, all right, can this team make some noise?
Yeah. Now, granted, they've suffered quite a few injuries. Stephon Diggs, they lost, what was it, Nico Collins for how many weeks?
They lost him for a while. Tank Dell's going to probably miss next year.
Yeah. So all the 3 of their top receivers had all missed time at some point.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon was Joe Mixon. I mean, he did enough, I guess.
If the Texans want to win this game, that is somebody who needs to have a big game. Is Joe Mixon, but I don't know if he's going to.
Yeah, I mean, I need to give more credit to Joe Mixon. He had 1,000 yards this year, only averaged 4 yards per carry, but yeah.
Well, again, let's not act like the Texans' offensive line has been world beaters this year.
Poor, to say the least.
This is going to come down to who makes that one big play first.
Yep.
And D'Amico Ryans had this team playing really good last year. Oh, yeah, Jimmy Ward's also out, too. He's on IR with a foot injury. The Texans are a good team. I don't know what happened this year. What's up, Dalt? Our friends from the 302 Birds podcast. What's up, brother? Are you ready for Wildcard weekend?
It's going to be a good one.
Jalen Petrie's also on IR. I don't know what the hell the Texas team's going to do.
They're going to lose. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah, I don't see how they win this game.
They haven't impressed me at all throughout this season. They made the playoffs because they're in a weak division. That's just how that's what it is. I think the Chargers are a better team. They have a lot more momentum coming into this game. They get the win.
Yeah, I have the Chargers winning. Dalton, yes, the Packers are tough, but I still think right now with no Jaire Alexander, no Christian Watson, Jordan Love not at 100%, it's going to be tough. The Packers defense may be playing with a chip on their shoulder to try to keep the team in the game, but I still think the Eagles win this game. I still think it's going to be a very happy next Monday. Lord, I hope so, or I'm canceling the show for the week.
More Victory Mondays.
I need, what do we need, 3 more Victory Mondays? 4 more Victory Mondays.
4 more Victory.
We need 4 more Victory Mondays. But no, so yeah, I have the Chargers winning this game. These next 2, I mean, the middle one's going to suck. Sorry, Steelers fans. But I guess we'll talk about them. Tyler, Ravens, Steelers, round 3. What you got?
You want to talk about a team that disappoints me more than the Minnesota Vikings from what I saw from them last night? The Pittsburgh Steelers. Is Mike Tomlin good over there? Does he still have the suds from the Eagles game? Has he still got some symptoms?
I think so.
What happened to the Steelers? Let me pull up the Steelers real quick.
The Steelers' offense was always going to be life or death with them.
So the Steelers games since the Eagles, they haven't won a game since. Let's just say that.
They're limping into the playoffs.
They're limping it. They're looking like the Eagles last year.
They are
limping into the playoffs. They got dominated by us. They got dominated by the Ravens, which is who you're going up against. Good luck. Dominated by the Chiefs. And then you lose to the Bengals as well and give them a chance to sneak into the playoffs.
Not only that, you blew the lead you had in the AFC North.
Yep.
You could have been the 3 or 4 seed.
So let's take a further look back at their season, right? Okay. They beat the Browns the second time around. They did lose to the Browns as well.
They split with Baltimore.
They split with Baltimore.
They split with Cincinnati.
They did split with Cincinnati. Their offense put up, I think, the highest points total the whole season in that game.
Yeah, they put like a 40 in that
44.
game. And 44. This is why the Bengals fought. Just so everyone knows, this is why the Bengals get fired their defensive coordinator.
Yeah. Because I'm sorry, if my offense puts up 38, I'm expecting to win the game. That's just how.
And I gave up 44 to an Arthur Smith Coach D offense
with Najee Harris as the main running back and George Diva Pickens as the wide receiver 1.
He is not a wide receiver 1, by the way.
Yeah, not at all. But they haven't had many good wins this year. They beat the Raiders. Cool. They beat
a big win.
They beat the Jets. Yeah, Baltimore was a big win. But when they beat Baltimore, that was kind of when Baltimore was in a little bit of a rough spot. Like, they were starting to drop a couple of games.
But this is what we talked about when we did the schedule predictions earlier in the summer. The Steelers had a very, very good opening schedule, and it was a gauntlet after, and they haven't answered the call.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at it,
this is exactly what we talked about.
The Steelers early in the season, they beat the Broncos. Now, granted, that's a young Broncos team that they beat. The Broncos have come a long way since then.
Absolutely.
They did beat the Chargers early in the year.
Yeah.
What else they have notable wins over?
They do have some decent, impressive wins.
Yeah,
but the problem is they did beat Washington. That was right before they came here. Wasn't it?
Oh, what was the question again?
Didn't they beat Washington right before they came here?
No.
Oh, okay.
That was like 5 weeks later.
Oh, okay, my mistake. Or was it Washington? Washington came here after that.
I think
Yes. I'm pretty sure that set up the next week against us at home.
Oh, you might be right.
Here, let me go look at the Commander's schedule real quick. I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Or the Eagles' schedule. Or no, Commander's schedule, yeah.
Yeah, they lost to the Steelers, and then they came here, and we beat them.
So, I don't see the Steelers winning. I don't see them having a chance to hang around in that game.
How could you pick them?
They haven't shown you anything.
Their offense is terrible.
If they even have an offense, can you even say that?
They don't. Mike Tomlin, once again, is proving to everybody what I've been trying to tell you. He doesn't care about the offense. He wants to run a ground and pound attack and play very good defense. Breaking news, you kind of need to have an above-average running back for that. Yes, Najee Harris is a 1,000-yard rusher, but I wouldn't say he's a – do you think Najee Harris is a top 12 running back in the league, Tyler?
Not at all. Not even close.
Okay, then.
I think he's bottom 10.
Oh, okay, bottom 10. Now you're like – you're approaching like Devin Singletary now. Come on.
Not really.
I mean, the guy's had 1,000 yards in each season he's played. That's impressive, but he's not like.
Yeah, the Steelers also run the ball a lot too.
Because they can't throw the damn thing.
He averaged 4 yards per carry this year. His career, he's averaged 3.9. But he's not a great running back. We'll leave it at that. Not the worst, not the greatest.
Yeah, he's not the worst, but he's not the best. I wouldn't put him in, and he's definitely not a difference maker. Like, he's not Saquon, he's not Mixon, he's not McCaffrey. He's not King Henry. He's none of those guys. But again, and they have at least capable enough weapons. Pickens is capable. Mike Williams is capable. Pat Freiermuth is probably their most consistent pass catcher. None of this matters if Russell Wilson doesn't play good enough. And this is a big test for Russell Wilson and for Mike Tomlin. Because they claim that I heard Steelers fans, they wanted the match. They wanted to go back to the Lions' den. Well, here you go.
Yeah.
You want the Ravens? You got the Ravens. This is the only division matchup in this first round, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yep.
All right,
we would have had another one, but Green Bay dropped. They sold.
So, Tyler, who do you have in the rubber match between the Ravens and the Steelers?
I thought it was obvious, the Ravens.
Well, guess what? You still got to tell the people.
George,
the people got to hear it, Tyler. People need to hear it.
If they couldn't put it together from how much trash I talked about them, I don't know where I was going the whole time. I'm sorry.
Anthony said, let's just say, would you play a team hard if you were playing them again next week? Yes.
Yeah. Which team is that in regards to? Is that in regards
to play teams? Because neither of these teams played each other last week. That was the week before, 2 weeks ago.
It was recent.
But again, it was 2 weeks ago. I'm pretty sure. But either way,
I think the reason the Steelers will not win this game is because of George Pickens. I think George Pickens, and I think this has been for a few years now, or at least since last season, he's wanted out of Pittsburgh. I don't think he wants to play in Pittsburgh.
He's A-B'ing himself.
Last year, he showed those flashes, like he had a few good games. He had a few games he wouldn't do anything. We've seen all the videos of him not willing to block on the field for his guys, not willing to be a team player, not committed to the team. And then after all them drops, I'm sorry, George Pickens didn't forget how to play football. No. He didn't just happen to drop all those passes. There were some forced drops there.
Well, somebody has an opinion on that, and that would be Mr. Anthony.
Yeah. I think the reason he might have had the drops is because I think he wants out of Pittsburgh. And if Pittsburgh if they see him as a problem, they don't think he's worth it, they're going to let him go. And he's just going to go to another contender.
I'm going to say this one more time. It's going to show you this week because I'm sorry, the quarterback comparison in this matchup is night and freaking day. You got a guy who is a shell of his former self and a guy who probably should be the MVP of the National Football League. I think we could agree on that.
We'll just call Lamar the two-time MVP.
The Steelers will never be a valuable AFC contender again until they get a quarterback.
Quarterback and a wide receiver one.
Look, if you got a young quarterback in there and you started out your career with George Pickens and Pat Fryermuth and Najee Harris, you could do a lot worse.
I'm telling you, there's just something I don't like about George Pickens.
I don't like his attitude.
I would not trust putting a young quarterback with George Pickens. Wouldn't trust
I
him.
wouldn't either.
Pat Fryer,
I wouldn't either.
great. Safety blanket. I still don't think Russ is the problem there. I think it's the lack of weapons that they have on the outside for him to pass to.
I think it's the coaching. I think because Mike Tomlin doesn't care about passing the football. He wants to run the football and play good defense. That's all he cares about.
And that's why Najee Harris has 1,000 yards in every season, even though he's not the greatest.
And this is why Mike Tomlin's only had one Super Bowl, and it was 17 years ago. But keep telling me he's a good coach because he has a couple 9 and 8 seasons. Oh, yeah. That's real accomplishing in the NFL.
This year was supposed to be his resurgence year. And now we're just heading back towards the same old.
The quicker that people realize that he is Doc Rivers, the better we'll be. Because they have one thing in common. They both won a championship in 2008, and they still keep getting employed because of it. But anyway, just like you, I have the Ravens. All right, now let's move down to the final game of the weekend. We have the Bills and the Broncos. Tyler, what do you feel? What are you thinking? How are we feeling about this game?
Broncos have been playing good football. They dismantled the Chiefs' second team unit that laid down for them so they wouldn't have to see the Bengals in the postseason.
Easily. The easiest thing to predict ever was the Chiefs not letting the Bengals in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. They were like, all right, us losing don't matter. Let's make sure the Bengals don't get in here. Make it a little easier for ourselves. I got the Bills. Bills are going to be at home. They haven't lost a game at home this year. They've been playing outstanding. The Broncos are having a great season, cute season so far, but it's exactly just that. It's unfortunately going to come to an end. It's a great start for what's to come with that team and Bo Nix, but I don't see them pulling off the major upset against the Bills.
I think the Bills are going to win this game. However, I think it's going to be closer than what we think. I think this will be the game where Bo Nix shows that he does belong here. Because as good as the Bills is, their defense has not beaten many opponents.
Yeah, they pull out a lot of points.
I think I could see this being like a 37-27 game or a 34-27 game. I don't see a lot of defense being played in this game at all. The Broncos defense has a bunch of very nice young players, but you're going against Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills.
Yep.
That's going to be hard enough. But, so unfortunately, Bo Nix is a great story, but I do have the Bills winning this game. So I think we're the same on the board again, right? We've got Chargers, Ravens, Bills.
Yep, all the same. Oh, yeah. Okay. We're not giving much debate right now.
Man, well, hey, it's kind of hard when you know some of these teams are not going to be like. I'm sorry, it's not my fault that the Steelers and Texans both stink. Yeah, they're the playoff teams, but they're not going to beat these teams.
The Washington Tampa, I could genuinely see that possibly going either way.
I'm very excited for that game.
If Jalen Hurts is playing, Eagles beat Green Bay.
Sounds like he is.
The Rams, I think they beat Minnesota. I think Minnesota's going to be all in their head after what happened against the Lions. I don't think they're going to get past it that quick.
You know, I just realized we could have previewed that game next week.
Oh, wow.
That game's on Monday. So for anybody that's just wondering, just in case anyone's wondering for this, we have Chargers, Texans, Steelers, Ravens on Saturday. Sunday we have a triple header. We have Packers, Eagles, Bills and Broncos. That game's at 1. I'm going to miss the start of that game. God damn it. And then we have Commanders, Bucks as the nightcap. And then on Monday, we have the Vikings and the Rams. Why couldn't we just do why couldn't we just do a weekend triple header for both days?
Because they got to get that Saturday, Sunday, Monday in.
No. They heard someone's going to Netflix. Oh, we got to take advantage of this. I guess that still doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But all right, so there's your wild card weekend predictions, everybody. So real quickly, Anthony said that why Sam Darnold throw to Jefferson 3 times in the red zone. Like, dude, you have other players. That is true, Anthony.
I was sitting back at one point in the first half of the game, and I was like, it was after that that interception that put them on the 7-yard line. I was like, they threw the ball 3 times in a row. I was like, do they not have Aaron Jones? He doesn't
have Cam Akers.
He doesn't get at least 1 carry after you get a turnover on your 7-yard line. 7 yards
Apparently
out.
Not.
You can't hand it off to him once. He might get the touchdown right off of that. Or if not, he might get you down to like the 2-yard line. Run it again.
And then maybe you can punch it with Cam Akers. Because Akers has played a solid role as our backup.
But you just throw it 3 times. Nothing.
And they're all like long developing routes in the back of the end zone.
Yeah. So it's either Darnold's getting pressured and sacked, or he's throwing up a 50-50 ball that's not getting caught.
Oh, God.
They tried to force feed Jefferson. Wasn't open.
I mean, listen to this. Like, Cam Akers had 6 carries last night for 65 yards. That's almost 11 yards a carry. Aaron Jones had 10 for 45. So, yeah, I don't understand what the Vikings' philosophy was in that game last night, but it wasn't to win.
It definitely wasn't to win.
But I think that wraps up wildcard weekend predictions for tonight.
Yes, it does.
We swept the board. So, all right. Before we move into some college football talk, we do have a couple little historic notes to put out just before we get to our college football talk. Whoa, that's what we look like.
I'm on the wrong side.
Oh God, yeah. And now he's back. There we go. So we do have a couple of NFL notes that happened yesterday and today. So the first one is, of course, with 89 receiving yards yesterday, Mike Evans registered his 11th consecutive 1,000-yard season, tying Jerry Rice for consecutive 1K yard season. Yep. The other historic mark made yesterday was Micah Parsons joins Reggie White as the only player to have 12-plus sacks in each of their first 4 seasons. Added to some coaching front office work, the Patriots fired head coach Gerard Mayo. The Colts announced that Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard will return for 2025. The Jacksonville Jaguars have fired Doug Peterson, but are retaining general manager Trent Baalke. Oh, good Lord. And the Giants are retaining both head coach Brian Daboll and general manager Joe Schoen. Any thoughts on any of that?
Thoughts for the Giants? LOL. Everything else, I pretty much saw it coming. The Gerard Mayo thing, 1-year scapegoat.
Yep, it looks like Vrabel's going to be
I love that he got the last laugh though. I love that. Love it.
Yeah, he probably knew he was going to get fired.
He did. No, I told you before that game kicked off, there was a report that came out that the Patriots front office is not sure that Mayo's their guy. So if that report came out, he knew what was coming after that game. So he gave it his all. He said, "You guys wanted to use me for a year to tank for a first-round pick, for first overall pick? Nah, we're not doing that.
Have fun picking 4th." Speaking of the Colts, by the way, the Colts have just announced that they have fired defensive coordinator Gus Bradley. Also, the Saints have requested to interview Eagles offensive coordinator Kellen Moore for their head coaching position. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Kellen Moore is going to go for a head coaching job, at least not so soon. Oh, and just to, because I saw Matt laughing about the Giants, just to reiterate, I do think Dable can still be a good head coach with other supporting coaches around him, the good offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. The Giants need a new GM.
Brian Dable is a good head coach. He got Daniel Jones to the freaking playoffs with Saquon Barkley, of course, but still.
Barkley. And guess
but
who?
that's
Guess
not the
who got
point.
rid of Saquon Barkley? Their GM.
Yep. And yes, Anthony, I did see that. I'm sorry. Is it really the damn Bengals defensive coordinator's fault he got fired, or was it the ownership in the front office that just kept letting the high-end talent walk out the door? DJ Reader, Jesse Bates, anybody?
It's both. Because, yes, they let those guys walk, but you still had, your guys that you kept, like Hendrickson.
They got one good defensive player. And that's Hendrickson.
Yeah.
That's it.
Now, I think their biggest mistake wasn't DJ Reader. I think it was Jesse Bates.
No, I agree with that.
Jesse Bates has played amazing for the Falcons. They should never let him walk because they don't have a secondary. They don't got nothing in the secondary. It's terrible.
All right, so Matt's saying that Love said his doctor, he said he should get better, but not sure when, but he will definitely be out there someday.
Yeah.
So he's going to be out there, not at 100%.
Yep.
Still gotta. I'm not falling for the smoke and mirrors act. I'm just telling you that right now.
Yeah. We saw that. We saw that in the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes went into the locker room at halftime, came out running all over the field.
Yeah. So I'm not falling for the whole smoke and mirrors thing. What about the Colts? I get it. I don't think Shane Steichen is the issue there. I don't think Chris Ballard is either. I think it's the fact that this team cannot find a quarterback.
Yeah.
They can't find a quarterback. I agree with you. Gerard Mayo was scapegoated in New England, and Doug Peterson, we saw that coming, and I hope Doug lands on his feet somewhere as an offensive coordinator because I think Doug is still a good coach, but it has been a rough go at it for Doug Peterson since 2017.
Where they need to get Doug at on the staff?
What's that?
Chicago. Get him in there to work with or get him up in New England to work with Drake May.
New England did announce that they fired Alex Van Pelt too.
Who was that?
Their offensive coordinator. So I mean, I think the writing is on the wall that Vrabel is going to probably be the Pats' next head coach. Maybe he brings Doug with him. Who knows? And in terms of the two historic feats that were made yesterday, Mike Evans just continues to prove that he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Oh, yeah. Easily. He's already got the championship.
Nope.
Now he's got this. Countless Pro Bowls. All pro. Shooing.
And if you need to be told otherwise, then I can't help you. So, I guess it's time to move on to the final little bit we have left, and that's some college football, huh?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So, do we want to recap a little bit of what happened last week?
Yeah.
All right. You want to try to find the?
I'm going to bring.
Obviously, you want to bring up. You want to bring up a quarterfinal bracket of last week's games, and then we'll move into the Final Four in a minute.
Oh yeah, it's got last week's games and it's got this week's.
That's fine. All right, so bring that up, and we'll get into it. There we are. All right. So let's start let's start with
I
the
want
big
to pick
ticket.
where to start. I want to pick where to
Okay.
start. I had to listen to you all week talk about we're gonna lose in the big game to Boise State. Penn State's not gonna do it. James Franklin's gonna get out coached. Man, give me a break. Penn State actually shocked me with how well they stopped the run.
Yeah. Imagine you're sitting here and doing a good job against Ashton Genty is holding him to 30 carries for 103 yards. No, like that's how good he is. Like
Yeah,
that's crazy
literally.
to think that doing that is a great feat, and a lot of
Because
credit goes.
when you take that number and you think about the fact that that's almost their whole offensive production, that means they didn't do anything.
Well, here's the thing. What did I tell you last week? For Penn State to win this game, they had to do these things. They had to help slow down Ashton Genty. They did. They had to keep him on the sideline by running the football their way. Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton outplayed Ashton Genty.
Yep.
What else needed to happen? They needed to be able to make Boise State make mistakes in their passing game. Well, 3 interceptions is pretty much, that's a lot of mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
So, if you look at it, if you would have told me that the Penn State would have held Ashton Genty to under 4 yards a carry, I would have told you were crazy. If you would have told me that Penn State would have held Ashton Genty out of the end zone, I would have called you crazy. If you would have told me that Ashton Genty would fumble the football as much last week that he did the entire season, I would have called you crazy.
Yeah.
And they did. They did a tremendous job in this game. Drew Aller, I don't care. The numbers don't tell you how well Drew Aller played in that game. Because Drew Aller could easily have 5 touchdown passes if Amari Evans and Trey Wallace had hands. They drive me freaking insane still. I mean, all 3 of those touchdown passes are beautiful football. The first one to Warren's a dot. The one to Amari Evans was a dot. And then the other one to Tyler Warren was beautiful. Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton handled their business. Not to mention, Tom Allen's defense did most of this one against Ashton Genty without their best player on the field.
Yeah. Well, why wasn't he on the field a lot?
He got hurt.
Oh, okay. Because I mean, he stayed suited up on the sideline.
Yeah, he did, but they didn't want to risk it. They were playing well enough without him, so it looks like he should be ready for Notre Dame. But we'll have to wait and see. But it looks like Abdul Carter it should be okay. But no, you give Penn State credit. They played a very strong game. Tom Allen had that defense ready to roll, and the offense played well enough. They ran the football great. Drew Aller had a sensational game. Like I said, I don't think the numbers tell you how good he really was.
Yeah.
But it kind of scares me because I still think teams are trying to talk him into going to the draft, and I think it's a mistake. Not because I'm a Penn State fan, but because it's not fair. I think one more year, he's a top 10 pick next year. I really do. If he stays next year, I think he goes top 10.
I talked to you about this yesterday in regards to Aller. I said to you, what if he does go to the draft? Let's say he's a 2nd round pick, something like that. A team drafts him, puts him behind, let's say, a Matthew Stafford in LA. Let Stafford finish out his contract, possibly his career. Who knows how much longer he wants to play for. Have Aller learning in the wings. Having him sit back and learn on an NFL level, that could be just as valuable as if he did go back to college to play for one more year. Going back to college to play for one more year, all that would do for him would be a reason to improve his draft stock.
Yes, but I'll tell you this.
It could help with his NFL readiness, but that's if he gets drafted to be a starter right away.
Oh, from what everything's being... Tyler, there are talks that if he stays at Penn State next year, he's going to go top 15. And I'll tell you right now, I know you said 2nd round. He's not going in the second round if he goes this year. There are teams talking about him in the first round.
Really? Wow.
Yes, Drew Aller is that damn talented. I don't personally want.
I don't because here's the sad part about first round picks and quarterbacks nowadays. They're almost all starters.
We have been taught this year by Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield. It don't matter how talented you are if you're in the wrong position.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence is talented. I would not want to be in Jacksonville.
Nope, not at all.
There will now be teams out there that will take any quarterback and think they can fix that because of what's happened this year.
Yeah.
But
Arnold. Seattle and Geno Smith.
Geno's had a great resurgence in Seattle.
Yeah.
I mean, Baker in Tampa.
Teddy Bridgewater's trying to come back.
Oh, would you knock it off? That man's trying to get the easiest Super Bowl ring in NFL history.
I don't think he's trying to come back this year. I think he wants to come back next year.
He's on the roster.
Wait, whose roster?
Detroit.
Wait, he signed to Detroit? What was this?
Where have you been?
Hold on. Has he been on their roster all year?
No, he just signed back with them.
He just signed.
Yes. He signed the day after Christmas.
Oh my gosh.
This man is trying to get the easiest ring in NFL history.
Wow.
But, all right, let's move on to Georgia, Notre Dame, since Matt's comment that he wasn't afraid of them. What are your thoughts on there, Tyler?
What happened was what most of us thought was going to happen.
Yep.
The young quarterback wasn't ready. Not for the big lights. At Notre Dame, they did a great job. They controlled the pace of the game. Their run game is really good, and their defense is just even better.
It is. Just want to throw out a shout-out to my buddy George G., of course, over the Dueling Aces. We tried to warn everybody how fraudulent Georgia was. Nobody wants to listen to us. I told everybody they ain't going to score against Notre Dame's defense. Notre Dame's defense has about 5 to 6 NFL players on it, and that's what all the injuries they've suffered.
Yeah.
So, I was not afraid of Gunnar Stockton going against Notre Dame and going in there and dropping some points. I wasn't. So, I, for one, don't know why people were concerned about it. Georgia, their defense tried. They only allowed one deep offensive touchdown, but Notre Dame put up the points, and they moved the ball when they had to, and this is what happened. And that's why Notre Dame's in the Final Four. Georgia, and I'm sorry to all my Georgia Bulldog fans, Carson Beck wouldn't have made a difference either. No. Carson Beck is he's not good.
He's not good.
Carson Beck is not good at all. So, I hate to ruin that for people, but it is what it is. Georgia's out, and the SEC fans can all go home and cry.
Yep. And they got one more team left, Sam. Don't you forget. First year SEC team, Texas Longhorns.
That is true. Now, I'm going to keep my opinion to. I'm going to just keep that to myself for a sec because I have thoughts on the whole issue with the college football playoff all of a sudden. But before we get to that, let's talk about the other side of the bracket. Let's talk Arizona State and Texas. I know you want to talk about this one.
Oh, man.
The floor is yours. I'll let you
I like some Texas football. But, boy, Texas's defense is regarded as probably top 3 in the nation. Up there with Notre Dame, Georgia, I guess Penn State around there somewhere. The
We're
Texas
about
is
middle of
regarded
the pack.
as yeah, they're regarded as one of the top tier defense in the nation. Cam Scatterbo completely carried his team on his back and willed them to overtime to try to beat the Texas Longhorns. It was a great game. I was so glad I was able to tune into it when I was able to. It was actually one of the better games to watch out of this quarterfinals because Notre Dame had Georgia the whole way, Penn State had Boise the whole way, and Ohio State had Oregon by the Bills.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. But Texas did enough to come out with the win. They found a way to do it. It wasn't the prettiest win,
No.
but credit to Cam Scatterbo and Arizona State for putting up a good fight. After we've seen all of these teams so far, these first round bye teams get slapped. They were one that actually, kind of held their own, showed that they deserved to be there.
They did. And they were a 4th and 13 play away from moving on. Which why you did an all-out blitz on 4th and 13. I would have let Quinn Ewers beat me there.
Yeah.
And give credit, though. Quinn Ewers played well.
He did. He had a good showing. Quinn Ewers is a quarterback that's very interesting. I know you like to talk about Drew Aller, but Quinn Ewers, we all heard the talk of, some people say he should go to the draft. He might get drafted in the 1st or 2nd round. I could see it. A lot of people say he should come back and play another year. But that next year shouldn't be with the Longhorns because the Longhorns seem like they're ready to go with Archie Manning. So where does he go from here? What does he do? He had a pretty good performance. He's got a tough matchup against Ohio State in semifinals.
It does. But, I mean, if you look at his game against Arizona State, 20 of 30, 322 yards, 4 total touchdowns, 3 passing, 1 rushing. It's probably the best game he's played in a while.
Yeah.
So give Quinn Ewers credit. He played really well. But, and then, of course, they went right down the field on the first play of double overtime and scored, which if I was Arizona State, would have fired my defensive coordinator right then and there.
Yeah.
Would have done it right then and there. But give them credit. Texas pulled it out, and now they're on to the Final Four. And joining them in the Final Four, let's talk about it. Because I tried to warn everyone, Oregon's the number 1 seed, but Ohio State's been playing some damn good football.
They have.
And I'm sorry, that's an embarrassment if I'm an Oregon Ducks fan. Sorry, Anthony.
People were expecting that close game shootout that we saw earlier in the year.
Exactly, we all were.
We were expecting a rematch of that. A lot of people thought Ohio State was going to come out on the winning end of that. They did come out on the winning end. But they did more than just win. They made a statement.
If you would have told me at one point that this game would have been 34-0 Ohio State, I would have told you to check yourself. But
yeah.
Oh, Anthony.
I feel bad for Tyler Warren because he needs a quarterback
his career.
Football.
I wouldn't mind if he went to New England.
Drake May.
Start building something over there.
Yeah, that's a good weapon to add. I mean, even though the Patriots literally only have tight ends, they got like 3 of them.
That's fine. Kyler Warren can line up a wide receiver, dude.
But are they going to give him the wide receiver money?
Wait, Anthony. Hold on. Anthony, you don't know why they're saying this?
Do you think Deshaun Watson's good?
No, did you not hear what happened to him today?
No, what happened?
Suffered a setback in his Achilles rehab. 2025 is a question mark now.
2025, a question? Did he re-tear it?
I don't know, but guess
what?
What
Does that mean?
Because that means they're going to draft Cam Ward.
Yeah, because hold on. I've never heard of that before. Things aren't going as expected, and he's projected to miss next year? And we're not even in the postseason yet?
It's a question.
The fact that it's even in the question.
Okay, then.
I think he
him being the starting quarterback should have been in question if he was healthy.
I think he retore it during rehab. Or something along that line.
Something happened. That's all we know. Something happened.
That's bad. Yeah, he's going to be the most expensive backup quarterback in NFL history.
Oh, God.
With his own personal massage therapist.
Oh, would you knock it off?
Who said that?
No, it just means he's due for a job at FS1.
Oh, my gosh.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, Skip Bayless is going to need someone to yell at since everyone leaves him.
But the first takeaway out of this game, Jeremiah Smith is the next great Ohio State wide receiver who will be playing on Sundays in the next 2 to 3 years.
Oh, yeah.
Will Howard played like somebody with a chip on their shoulder.
Something to prove.
And Ohio State's defense, they played violently last week on New Year's Day. They were hitting Oregon. They were running. They were just gunning all over the place.
Yeah.
And I can tell you now, regardless of what happens, Ryan Day is not getting fired.
No, not anymore. It was looking a little rocky there for a little bit, but with what he's doing right now, that win alone over Oregon, the dominant win, he's good. He's solid. He's not going anywhere for years.
No.
It would take a really big flop for them to fire him.
Yeah, it would. Definitely 100% would have to. So, do we want to just get these predictions out and then we'll call it a night?
I think these predictions are easy. Ohio State, Notre Dame. Sorry.
You couldn't make this more interesting. You just got to get.
So let's break this down more, shall we? I honestly don't think Texas. I don't think it's going to be a blowout win, but I don't think Texas has a chance to get the win.
Okay. You don't think that defense comes out?
I don't know, because I still have those worries seeing Texas's defense against good teams. Example, Georgia. Georgia's offense is not that good.
No, it's not.
But I've still seen Georgia's offense move the football on Texas and beat them. So they're not reliable enough to me. And the offense is kind of hit or miss too. They need their running game to be really solid. Because Quinn Ewers, he played a great game against ASU. Like you said, that's probably the best game of the season so far. Is he going to replicate that
against a better Ohio State team?
Yeah. I don't know if that's going to happen. So I really don't. I can't give the Longhorns much of a chance. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible. I think they could come out. They could just slap them.
It's just Ohio State they're the hottest. The two hottest teams going into this Final Four are Notre Dame and Ohio State.
Yeah.
This right here it's confirmed Ohio State's winning.
Ew.
This confirms Ohio State's winning. Come on.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Wow.
So I'm going to go. I got to go Ohio State. Texas, they're good, but Ohio State's just playing like a bunch of madmen right now.
Yeah. Matt agrees with what I said as well. He's got Ohio State versus Notre Dame. Yeah, no disrespect to Penn State at all. It's really not.
So let me just dissect this. I think Drew Aller is perfectly capable of beating Notre Dame. I don't trust everything around him.
Yeah.
Because you watch this, look.
Don't have the wide receivers.
No, which is going to be able to take, and with a team like Notre Dame with that defense, with all that talent, this isn't Boise State. This enables a team like Notre Dame to go in and zone in on a Tyler Warren, stack the box against a Katron Allen and a Nicholas Singleton. I think Notre Dame's just too good. And Riley Leonard's a gamer at quarterback. Notre Dame runs the football well, too. Notre Dame's defense is just the biggest difference maker in this game to me.
Yeah.
And I have Notre Dame beating Penn State. So I have Notre Dame versus Ohio State in the national championship game. Which we will not preview now because why would we? Imagine this, though. Like what Matt just said. Could you imagine if we had a national title game, Penn State versus Ohio State?
That would be hilarious. The one you finally get some success. You win these big games in the college football playoffs, make it to the championship game, and who do you see? The bane of your existence.
Right. Ohio
the team James Franklin cannot beat. Will it be the day?
Will it be the day? Will it be the millennium?
Well, let's just hope that if Penn State beats Notre Dame, Texas gets the job done against Ohio State.
Well, yeah, but I do have Notre Dame winning that game, so I have Ohio State and Notre Dame too. We've had a great year. Getting to the semifinal of the first year of this new playoff format, it's extraordinary. It's a big success for Penn State.
Oh, yeah.
But I just don't know how they're going to beat Notre Dame. Notre Dame is such a good team. Now, before we go, I just want to go on a little... I haven't had a rant in a while. It's been a freaking minute. Let me talk about all these crybabies about the college football playoff. Okay? I thought you knocked me out off the screen for a second. I'm not going to lie.
Yep. I thought about it.
Let's have a talk, okay? But real quick, Matt said, all bias aside, I think Notre Dame wins the national title. Our defense is too good, and Leonard makes a huge difference for the offense. Agreed. Now, honestly, I think if Notre Dame plays Ohio State, I don't think defense are going to really matter in that game, but...
Yeah.
For all the people that want to keep complaining about what teams got in and the seeding, if you want to say that we have to reseed every round, I'm okay with that. I think we should. But for all the people like, oh, Oregon shouldn't have to play Ohio State. Why? You want to say you're the best team in college football? Act like it.
Yeah.
Here's my biggest issue with the people that complain about the playoff. It's not about the reseeding. It's not about who got in. It's the fact that 95% of the complaints are from SEC fans, who, by the way, got dominated in almost every bowl game they played. First of all, I can make the statement that, oh, the SEC has dominated college football for the past 2 decades. No, not really. Alabama dominated for the past 2 decades, and Georgia showed up every 3 years, and LSU was still for a year. Oh, but all these South Carolina, the Florida Gators, the SEC runs the college football. No, you just played in the conference of the team that ran college football.
Yeah.
That's like having Dolphins fans for Brady's whole thing and say, "Hey, the AFC East has more Super Bowls." No, that's not how this goes. Nobody watches how the freaking the Gamecocks when Alabama's on. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it doesn't happen.
The better conference now they're just mad because the Big Ten runs it. Penn State, Oregon, Ohio State, Michigan will be back next year.
Some of the early iterations of the college football, the Final Four they did, it was Ohio State winning it a lot. Ohio State was the SEC. Big Ten football.
But you know what? But still, sorry that we were getting. Sorry, fans like us were sick and tired of watching Bama, Georgia, Ohio State. The fourth team would always be someone new, and no one else had a chance.
Yep. They'd throw one team in there to surprise you, like LSU. Who else? It was always a random different team.
Yeah, what about people at Notre Dame? Oh, they're not in a conference. So?
Did that matter when they whooped Indiana?
They just beat the team that won
the SEC.
They just beat the team that's had one of the best defenses in the SEC for the past 4 years. That team won 2 national titles in 3 years they just beat.
Yeah.
So cry me a river with the SEC. SEC fans act like they're all this collective family. Like, oh, Bama's wins are our wins. No, they're not. You watch Bama beat the crap out of your team, and that's what happened. And then Matt said, by the way, if no one knows, we ain't in a conference. The Big Ten rejected us some years back. Really?
Dang. Isn't it because isn't it a Catholic school or a Christian school?
Yeah.
I think that's a reason why it's hard for them to find a conference. I think there's something weird that a lot of these conferences do in regards to that. Like, I think they'd be allowed to join the Ivy League or something.
Oh, God, they'd run that shit forever. You thought Bama in the SEC was bad. Oh, my God. But, Tyler, you got anything else you want to add for tonight before we call it a night?
No. I enjoyed your little rant. You're totally right. I mean, there's only about 4 teams that actually matter in the SEC, but everyone just says SEC as a whole collective. Because let me bring off some names for you, Sam.
Okay, I got something else to say.
Arkansas. Okay. Auburn Tigers.
They haven't been good since Cam Newton was there.
Exactly. Florida Gators.
They haven't been good since
Tim Tebow.
Oh my, dude, there's some other guys on that team.
Tebow Hernandez.
Whoa, buddy.
I'm not going to say Georgia. Kentucky.
Wow.
LSU. They're not even.
They're good every 10 years.
Yeah. Every few years when they finally find another quarterback. Mississippi State. Mississippi State's the team that the SEC teams beat up on and claim that they played a good team.
Yeah, they'll be 24th in the nation for a week just to prove it.
Yeah. Missouri.
Wow. Yeah, Matt, he's back up what you're saying about them being a huge Catholic school.
Yeah.
Also, can we also just admit that the SEC dominance is over because now everything is an even playing field, including paying players?
Mm-hmm.
Because, look, you don't got to lie. The SEC has been paying players for years. We know it.
Oh, yeah. That's why
now it's just legal.
Saban's like, man, I don't got an edge on nobody anymore. I'm not doing
Notice that. That's the thing you need to notice. As soon as the NIL stuff started, Saban all of a sudden says, I'm retired. Because he knew. Because, see, back then, you had... God, you remember Alabama's wide receivers alone? You had Devontae Smith, Henry Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy. Oh, then you had, Calvin Ridley in front of that.
Yeah, and then you had like Jameson Williams another year. Who else?
You can't even name them. That's how many there were.
You can't name them all.
But now that teams can pay players in the transfer portal, and now it's an even playing field. Now these
Just
Alabama's
one
not
more
as
SEC team, Sam, for you, Vanderbilt.
who beat Alabama, but that's the thing. Alabama, there's not that collective depth anymore where you have 3 Heisman winners at one position. It's all evening itself out now. Like, look at Penn State. Would I ever thought that Kyron Hudson would want to leave USC to come to Penn State? No.
Yeah. It's crazy.
But college football, so the playoff format needs adjusting. We need to reseed every round. Agreed. We should, the top 4 seeds should be the top 4 in the final AP top 25 of the regular season.
Yeah.
Conference games, whatever. That's
I don't think conference games should be weighed into it. So the original thought process behind it, I get it. If you win your conference, you should be. I agree. If you win your conference, you should make it in to the playoffs, but not a first round bye.
Boise State should have been playing SMU or something like that.
Yeah, and honestly, that would have been a good game.
I'm also mad we didn't get to see that Boise Blue on a playoff game. But in terms of now, some people say they should have went 8 teams instead of 12. I don't care if it's 12 teams. As long let's be real, the quarterfinals was way better than the first round. The first round was an embarrassment.
Yeah,
but you can make it more. What's the word I'm looking for here?
Competitive.
Yes, you can make it more competitive if you seed it differently. Top 4 seeds get a bye. So the next year, right? Top 4 seeds: Penn State, Texas, Oregon, Ohio State. All right, all 4 of those teams get a bye.
Yeah,
and you even it out that way. But in terms of the new format and all this makes college football better. It makes more teams better, more teams to look forward to something. It makes it better.
Yep. Now, Anthony brings up strength of schedule is important. It is, but you have to understand the College Football Ranking Committee has had trouble factoring in strength of schedule for probably a decade or more. Like, they try to do their best, but it's tough because there's not a single college football team who just plays a bunch of great teams. There's not a single one because it doesn't work like that.
Not at all.
There are some of these schools that you do have to play each year to, they might have some sort of agreement in place that they play each other once a year, whatever it may be. But you're not just going to play, every year, Alabama, Tennessee, Texas, Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State. And if you do that, you're probably going to finish the season at like 500.
Yeah.
So I do get it. There are some teams that might have slightly stronger schedules, but they're usually not by much. And you never know. Some of those teams that you might think aren't really the best teams, they might be ranked at some point in the season.
Exactly. But I have no issue with the new college football, the portal, the NIL. I have no issue with that. It makes more teams interesting. The playoffs, sure, there needs to be some tinkering to it. I 100% agree on that. But in terms of everything else, the SEC dominance is over, and now it's an even playing field.
Yep.
But in regards to that, I got nothing else to talk about. You have anything would you like to add on to this?
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Fly, Eagles, fly. Well, to everyone, thank you for joining us tonight. We hope everyone enjoyed tonight's episode. Thank you for Anthony, Zolt, Matt, Brian, Carol, Georgie, Bruiser, everyone throwing their comments in tonight. We hope you all enjoyed tonight's episode, the first of 2025. And guys, real quickly, Anthony, no, the transfer portal does not suck.
Anthony might be losing a couple players on the transfer portal.
No, all right, no, wait. The way they have it set up does suck. Like with Bo Corbelia, how he had to leave Penn State in the middle of the playoff run.
Yeah.
Where the window opens sucks. Like the second the national title game's over, all right, portal's open for this amount of time. That's how you fix that. But this could not, because here's the thing now, right? What happens now if Drew Howard does go to the NFL? Bo would be the starter for Penn State next year, but now he can't because he's in Missouri. So now you're screwing Penn State over.
Because he didn't think he was going to get a chance to start next year, so he already transferred.
So I agree with that part. The portal needs to be after the season. Athletes have to open it after the season's over, so teams have time to do this stuff. But like I said, minor things that need to be tweaked. That's it. But the new format, there's a future for college football in this. But guys, we hope you all enjoyed tonight's episode. Thank you all for joining us on episode number 25. We are halfway to 50, Tyler, since returning. We are halfway to 50. So, everyone, thank you so much. These comments keep flying in as I'm trying to get the hell out of here. It's okay. I love the comments. Anthony said I love starting drama with my topic. Anthony, you do a whole bunch of stuff with your topics, and we love you for it.
I'll say, you want to hear something funny real quick?
Shoot, what's up? I'm never getting out of here tonight.
Christian McCaffrey said he could have played in the playoffs if the team made it.
Okay, buddy.
Okay.
Yeah, sure you could have.
We'll see you next year, bud.
Yeah, if you don't have tendonitis in August again.
Damn.
But everyone, enjoy Wildcard weekend. Enjoy the semifinals of college football's playoff. We'll be recapping it all next Monday. 2025 is here. 609 has been going strong for 25 episodes. Big things are coming. We hope you guys enjoyed tonight. I'm never getting out of here tonight. I'm never getting out of this show tonight. We are stuck here forever.
That's how you got to sign off tonight. Statman Sam.
Now that's Zolt. I can't steal Zolt's thunder or dueling aces. But thank you all for joining us tonight. We hope you all enjoyed tonight, and we'll see you guys next Monday. I see the comment. I'm not reading it. Yes, I am.
Oh, 100%. Because I think we all can agree with this.
CMC will not be the number one pick in fantasy. CMC may be like a fourth rounder next year with that injury history.
No. Somebody's going to take him like with their 9th or 10th pick in the league. Someone's going to take him towards the end. 100%.
Yeah, it'll be the dumbest thing that person does.
Hey, if you're already picking at 9 or 10, YOLO.
Fuck it. YOLO. But guys, thank you all for joining us tonight. We'll see you next week. If you got a lot of snow in your area, be safe out there. God knows it's going to be cold over the next for the next few months, but especially this week. Stay safe on the road. Have a safe rest of your week. We'll see you guys next time. For Tyler Adams, I'm Sam Nelson. Good night, everybody.